Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you can solve this puzzle, you are at least a 1000 plus rated player. We are continuing in our series. This is puzzle number 6. It is black to play. Pause the video now. Okay, as always, I want these videos to be educational and instructive. I picked this puzzle because it is very similar to the previous puzzle in this series, puzzle number 5, which was the decoy. And in this puzzle, we have the brother or the cousin of the decoy tactic, which is deflection. In fact, they are so similar that chess.com, when you look at the different categories of puzzles, they actually don't even separate these two tactics. They lump them together in the same category, even though there is a subtle difference. Yeah, exactly. So let's go back very quickly and refresh our memory on the decoy tactic from the previous puzzle. So in this position, actually, you can pause the video if you want to, but in this position, white actually only has one move. Anything else is actually losing. So we have this beautiful move. Rook takes d6. So the decoy, if you remember, is it's like you're waving your hands in there. Hey, over here, you're dragging a piece. A lot of times it's the king. You're dragging a piece to a square that it does not necessarily want to go to. So we have this nice little tactic. We take the bishop. And if black doesn't take that, then we're just up a bishop. And if the black king does take the rook, we are sucking the king out to a square it does not want to go to. And we have the killer move, bishop to f4, and that is game over. Bishop has the diagonal cut off, rook has the e-file cut off, and the pawns have the other squares cut off. So that is a good refresher on the decoy. We're just drawing a piece to a square it doesn't want to go to. Now, for the deflection tactic, I guess the best way I can describe deflection is no big deal, just one of the coolest movie scenes in the history of movies. So that's one type of deflection. So in chess, the other type of deflection is, again, we're drawing a piece to a square that it doesn't want to go to, but with a deflection tactic, the difference is we're drawing a piece away from the defense of another piece. So for example, in this puzzle, white can play queen takes bishop on c8, check. The king cannot go to f7. So black has to block with the queen, right? Okay, but instead of taking the queen, we have this nice little deflection tactic. We can play bishop to f7 check, right? And so the king is defending the queen, and so the king can't go here, so the king has to take the bishop on f7, and now we see the result of the tactic. We can win the queen. So remember this, keep this in mind. Whenever the king and queen are lined up together and the queen is blocking, if you can check this king from behind, a lot of times we have a very nice tactic. In this case, we win the queen. So I'm going to give you guys another shot at it. If we go back to our original puzzle, if you weren't able to solve this, now knowing that we have a deflection tactic, go ahead and pause the video again for a second time and see if you can find it. Okay, what'd you come up with? So it's kind of funny when you put this into the engine, at first it finds like a forced checkmate in like 44 moves.
2,000 years later.
Yeah, exactly, right? If you let the engine think for 15, 20 minutes, it eventually whittles it down and finds a forced mate in like 30 moves. But black only has one move here. Anything else is either completely drawish or it's losing for black. So the first move here is we're going to play queen to e5 check. If the king backs up to one of these squares, then, well, we're just going to win the rook. If the king goes to f3, well, then rook takes d3. That's going to force the king away, and then we'll be able to take the rook. So in this position, the move that white needs to play to prolong the game as long as possible, is to simply block with rook e4. Now, as always, we look for checking moves. So the next move, we have queen to g3 check. Once again, if the king backs up, then we're going to be targeting this d3 pawn. That's going to be game over very quickly. So in this position, again, the best move for white to prolong the game is queen to f3, blocking the check. And here we go. So now we have our beautiful deflection tactic. And once again, keep this in your memory banks. File this away in your toolbox. Whenever you're checking the king on a straight line and your opponent blocks with the queen, most of the time blocks with the queen or maybe even blocks with the rook, if you can check the king from the opposite direction, check it from behind, most of the time that's going to result in a very nice tactic. So here we have the deflection tactic, rook takes d3, and you might say, oh, well, obviously if the king takes that, they're going to lose the queen. You might say, oh, well, the white king doesn't have to take that. We can just play king to e2. Nope. Because when you check the king from behind, if the king moves, you will now be double attacking whatever piece is there. In this case, the queen. This would result in a checkmate in two moves. Okay, so white can't do that. So once we play the nice deflection tactic, check them from behind, king takes, queen, and this is a very easily won endgame. The deflection tactic, very, very powerful tactic in chess.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you think these videos are helpful and you would like me to continue posting them, please consider liking and subscribing. Thanks so much, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.